summer to a librarian that works at the Derby Public Library named Miss Alyssa. And you'd be right, it is me, Miss Alyssa. But I have a little bit of a secret. Sometimes when it's summer and I go swimming a lot, things start to change. I start to get these scales on my hands, and my hair changes color, and craziest of all, sometimes I don't have legs anymore. I get this beautiful mermaid tail, and it's a really powerful tail. Whoa! So I have been swimming all over the world this summer. I've been going to oceans, lakes, streams, even some backyard pools. And I have learned so many amazing new stories to share with you. So come along with me and let's have a great mermaid story time. Let's start off by hearing a story about a girl named Grace who has a really awesome bracelet given to her by her grandmother. Her grandmother got it from a place called Hawaii. Hawaii is a beautiful island, and sometimes it's also pronounced Hawaii. That's the way that I'll be pronouncing it in the story. Can you say that with me? Hawaii. Awesome. Let's hear the story. On a hot summer day, Grace had just finished swimming in the pool. She was drying off when she touched her wrist. "Oh no," she said. She shook out her swim towel, she wiggled in her swimsuit, she dug into her swim bag, and she even shook out her flip-flops. She was in a total panic. Her little brother Ethan noticed Grace acting strangely and came up saying, "Are you trying to do some weird dance move or something?" Grace growled at him. "No, I can't find my bracelet." Her little brother's face went pale. "You don't mean the bracelet that Grandma gave you, the one with the seashell?" Yes, the one with the seashell that she got from Hawaii. It's gone." "Well, did you take it off before we jumped in the pool?" Ethan asked. Grace shook her head hard. "I never take it off." "You mean you swam with it on? Then that means..." Both Grace and Ethan looked at the pool, looked at each other, and then looked back to the pool. They didn't waste any time. Grace shook off her swim towel, Ethan grabbed his swim goggles, and together they dove into the pool. Now they were both really good swimmers. They'd spent all last summer taking swim lessons and practicing. They were really smart about swimming too, and made sure to take breaks when they got tired. When Ethan popped back up, his face was scrunched in worry. "I see something shiny down there, but I can't really tell what it is." Grace didn't even wait for her little brother to explain further. She dove down to the pool floor, and Ethan followed her. He pointed over to the pool drain, and they both saw something sparkling. Now, Grace didn't have goggles on, so she motioned to Ethan, and Ethan reached in and tipped the little item with his finger. Sure enough, they were right. It was Grace's beloved bracelet. Grace pointed up to the surface, and Ethan followed, where they went up, gasping for air. "How are we going to get it? I need a stick or something. Ethan, find something for me." But Ethan froze. He couldn't look for a stick. In fact, he couldn't look for anything, because he was busy looking behind Grace's shoulder, his eyes getting wider and wider. "Ethan, what's wrong?" Grace said. Ethan pointed, and Grace turned to see 8 giant purple ropes creeping out of the pool water. The ropes clung to the wall with suction cups, and in the center were 2 beady black eyes looking straight out. 8 legs, suction cups, black eyes. A giant octopus was in their pool! Grace and Ethan screamed and swam as fast as they could to get out of the pool. Just as they got up to the surface, Grace's ankle was caught by something and pulled her down. "Ethan, it's got me! Help!" The hand pulled Grace down back into the water and covered her mouth. It wasn't the octopus. It was a human hand, and attached to it was a girl with starfish in her hair and seashells all over her skin. Most unbelievably was that her legs weren't legs at all. They were a giant, powerful fin. Ethan inched closer. "You're a mer. The girl just shook her head. "Yes, I'm a mermaid. Mermaid Claire, to be exact. Hello. But I'm not the one you need to worry about here. The Kanaloa has been awakened and is taking over the water. Kana what? Grace said. Kanaloa, a sea monster, Mermaid Claire said. A sea monster from the island of Hawaii. I was swimming there when all of a sudden I noticed the Kanaloa and was trying to get away from it. And then before I knew it, I found myself here in these strange waters. These aren't strange waters, Grace said. This is our pool. And my bracelet's from Hawaii. It's stuck in the bottom of the pool drain. Mermaid Claire nodded. The bracelet called to us, and the Kanaloa wants it. We have to get it before the creature does. The Kanaloa's 8 tentacles had surrounded the deep end of the pool, right above where the drain was. Its eyes darted back and forth, scanning the whole length of the pool. When Mermaid Claire let go of Grace and tried to inch closer, the Kanaloa grumbled and growled, bubbles rumbling in the water. How are we going to get my bracelet? Grace said. Mermaid Claire smiled. I have an idea. She whispered to the 2 humans a mermaid's secret, and together they came up with a plan. Grace and Ethan got out of the pool and stood at opposite sides of it. They took deep breaths in and out. Mermaid Claire waited by the edge, looking up at the sky. She lifted her shiny tail just as the sun broke through the clouds, and her tail was so sparkly that the sunlight reflected right into the Kanaloa's eyes, blinding it for just a moment. "Now!" Mermaid Claire screamed. Grace and Ethan both dove into the water at the same time, and the Kanaloa reached out its 8 arms in all directions. One arm lunged for Grace, and she grabbed it. It was slimy and sticky, but she held on as she swam over to Ethan's side of the pool, where he too had grabbed a tentacle, and swam across over to Mermaid Claire. Soon they were swimming in all directions, and they had tied the Kanaloa in a knot. A big, giant knot. The Kanaloa just began to bob up and down like a beach ball in the pool. Mermaid Claire burst out of the water, holding the bracelet in her hand. "You got it! Thank you, Mermaid Claire," Grace squealed. "Be careful with that thing when you're in the pool," Mermaid Claire said. "Who knows what else it could summon?" Grace nodded, and she tied the bracelet back to her wrist. Just as it touched her skin, both Mermaid Claire and the Kanaloa disappeared. Little bubbles left in their wake. Whew! What a story! If you saw Kanaloa in the pool, what would you do? Hopefully Mermaid Claire would be there to save you. Definitely. We're going to dance along and pretend like we're waves. Join me. All right, just start by moving your hands. Just moving your hands and arms. You can move them kind of slow. Beautiful. Now can you move your hands over to one side? And then move them over to the other side. Go back to one side. And then the other. See how our hands are going up and down just like a wave? Maybe your shoulders can move too. Let's try in the front. Go in the front, and then see if you can bring the wave back. Go forward, and back. Forward, and back. Now can you make a tiny little wave? Really little. Can you make a little bit bigger of a wave? So go up a little higher, down a little further. Up a little higher, and down a little further. Can you go even bigger now? Whoa, look at that huge wave! Can you go faster? Whoa, it's like a storm! Take your big wave over to the side. And then go to the other side. Can you wave your arms up in the air? Whoa. one more good wave. You did it! That was so wonderful! Thanks for riding that wave with me. It's time for another story. This one is called The Tiny Shiny Fish. Just like this. Once there was a tiny shiny fish swimming in the big blue ocean. It's dangerous in the big blue ocean, but the tiny shiny fish wasn't scared. While taking a nap in the cluster of sea foam, a bubble floated towards the tiny shiny fish and popped beside him. As the bubble popped, a little voice came out. You are invited to Swirly Curly Seahorse's birthday party at Reef Ridge. A birthday party! The tiny shiny fish was so excited. But there was one little problem. Reef Ridge was really, really far away. Much farther than the tiny shiny fish had ever traveled before. It's dangerous out in that big blue ocean, but the tiny shiny fish wasn't scared. So he set off on his journey to Reef Ridge. He made it to Coral Canyon when suddenly something blocked his path. It was the slimy, grimy octopus. Where are you swimming to, tiny, shiny fish? The fish said. To Reef Ridge for a party. The slimy, grimy octopus laughed. Well, isn't that sweet? But you see, I need to eat. The slimy, grimy octopus crept closer, opened his wide mouth, and headed straight for the tiny, shiny fish. The tiny, shiny fish looked around, but he couldn't go left, he couldn't go right, he couldn't go down. So the fish reared his tail, swam straight for the mouth, barely missing as he swam up and over the octopus, sliding down his slimy, grimy back. Bop, bop, bop. Whew, it's dangerous out there in the big blue ocean, but the tiny, shiny fish wasn't scared. He swam on, making it to Salty Seamount, when suddenly someone blocked his path. It was the sliding, gliding stingray. Where are you swimming to, tiny, shiny fish? The fish said. To Reef Ridge for a party. The sliding, gliding stingray laughed. Well, isn't that sweet? But you see, I need to eat. The sliding, gliding stingray crept closer, opened his wide mouth, and headed straight for the tiny, shiny fish. The fish looked around, but, as you know, he couldn't go left, he couldn't go right, he couldn't go down. So he reared his tail and swam straight for the mouth, barely missing it as he swam up and over the stingray, sliding down his sliding, gliding back. Bop, bop, bop. It's dangerous out in that big blue ocean, but the tiny, shiny fish wasn't scared. He swam on, making it to the terrible trench, when suddenly someone blocked his path. It was the stinky, slinky eel. Where are you swimming to, tiny, shiny fish? Oh, goodness, the fish said. To Reef Ridge for a party. The stinky, slinky eel laughed. Well, isn't that sweet? But you see, I need to eat. The stinky, slinky eel crept closer, opened his wide mouth, and headed straight for the tiny, shiny fish. He couldn't go left, he couldn't go right, he couldn't go down, so the tiny, shiny fish reared his tail and swam fast straight for the mouth, barely missing as he swam up and over the eel, sliding down his stinky, slinky back. Bop, bop, bop. It's dangerous out in the big blue ocean, but the tiny, shiny fish wasn't scared. The tiny, shiny fish was so close to Reef Ridge. He swam on, making it to the open ocean, when suddenly someone blocked his path. It was the large and in charge killer whale. Where are you swimming to, tiny shiny fish?
To Reef Ridge for a party.
The large and in charge whale laughed. Well, isn't that sweet? But you see, I need to eat. The large and in charge whale crept closer, opened his wide mouth, and headed straight for the tiny shiny fish. He couldn't go left, he couldn't go right, he couldn't go down. And this time, the tiny shiny fish was too tiny to really go up. He was stuck, and the whale's mouth was headed straight for him. The tiny shiny fish swam faster and faster, looking down just in time to see a pile of seashells. He got an idea. He swam towards the shells, gathered them up in his fins, and started throwing them at the whale. Bop, bop, bop. It's dangerous out in the big blue ocean, but that tiny shiny fish wasn't scared. The whale screamed, "Ah, you hit my eye! Ah, you hit my fin! I'm going somewhere else to dine in." The tiny shiny fish was so tired from his journey that when he made it to Reef Ridge, he was still carrying the seashells. When he saw the curly, swirly seahorse, he said, "Happy birthday." And the seahorse smiled.
Are those seashells for me?
The tiny shiny fish looked down and laughed.
Happy birthday, seahorse.
Whew, what an adventure. Tiny shiny fish, that was a very, very tiring trip.
You can say that again.
I have a friend that I'd love for you to meet. His name's Tucker, and he's a turtle.
Come on, Tucker.
Hey, bud. Can everyone say, "Hi, Tucker"? Oh, it's okay, Tucker. See, Tucker gets kind of scared sometimes. He gets shy. Sometimes he even gets a little frustrated. But it's okay, Tucker. Actually, I have a really fun song I'd love to sing with him. Maybe you can join along with me. Tucker turtle, he's our friend, he's our friend. When he gets angry or things get scary, he talks in, he talks in. Can you talk in like Tucker? Oh. Hey, let's try to make him feel better. Tucker turtle, what's this about? What's this about? Why not take 2 breaths? Why not take 2 breaths in and out, in and out? Give it a try, Tucker. Here, our friends will help us too. Can you help us? Let's take a big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Great job. Tucker turtle, it's okay, it's okay. When you get angry or things get scary, breathe it away, breathe it away. Feel better, Tucker? Good. Thanks for joining us for our song. Can everyone say bye, Tucker? Oh, what's that? Oh, Tucker said the next time you go swimming, whether in a pool or in a lake, see if you can find him, and if you do, say hi. Make sure to remind him to take 2 deep breaths in and out. Guess what time it is? Bubble popping time! Let's pop some bubbles together. If you have bubbles at home, you're welcome to bring them out. But if not, it's okay. Let's pretend like there are bubbles all around us. And you've got to catch them. Catch. 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 Can you pop them with your finger? Pop. Pop. Pop, pop. Pop. Pop, pop. Oh, there's one low. Pop. Pop. Pop, pop. Perfect. Can you make a bubble circle with your hand? Whoa. Bring it over to one side. Look how high it's going. Let's bring it over to the other side. And pop that bubble. Pop. Pop, pop. Pop. Pop, pop. Try to catch them this time. Careful, one's gonna land on your nose. Let's be those big bubbles again. Think you can be a bigger bubble? Whoa! You seen a bubble this big before? Can you be a tiny bubble?
Super tiny.
All right, now you gotta catch the bubbles way up high, because I'm stuck here with my fin. So jump! 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 Catch up those bubbles! Jump! 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 Wait, there's some on the floor! Get the ones on the floor! Pop, 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 pop. Get them one more time. Pop, 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 pop. Whoa. Let's take a break and roll it out. Can you roll out your hands? Can you roll them a little faster? Go a little bit faster. And pop the bubbles. Pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Catch them in your hand. Pop. 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 See if you can catch the really high ones. And then catch the low ones. There go the bubbles on one side. And on the other side. Float with your bubbles. And you did it! That was amazing! Thank you so much for popping bubbles with me. There are so many incredible treasures in the water. And something I love to do when I go swimming is find seashells. And not just any seashells, but magic ones. These seashells come from the bottom of the ocean, and they've been known to make your wishes come true. They're so powerful that even though you can't be here with me and I can't be there with you, they still might make your wish come true. So I'm going to choose this seashell. And what I would like you to do is close your eyes and make a wish. Make sure not to say it out loud. Keep it nice and quiet inside of your heart. And I will think of you, and maybe your wish will come true. Thank you so much for joining me this morning for Mermaid Storytime. I've had so much fun telling you these stories, dancing along with you, and making some new friends. But I'm afraid I need to head back to the ocean soon. So before we go, let's end with a little closing song. Follow along with me. My hands say thank you with a clap, clap, clap. My fin says thank you with a slap, slap, slap. Clap, clap, clap. Slap, slap, slap. We roll our hands and say, see you next time.